Hello, my name is Larry Berman. The reason I'm developing this channel is because I believe God has called me to write a book. The book is called Prayer. Why is it so difficult and how to overcome it? Now, you may say, why me? Why am I the one to write this book? Well, first of all, I first gave my life to the Lord as a Jew. I was born and raised Hebrew. I am a Hebrew. And I was born and raised in synagogues. I used to go to synagogues all the time. And in 1971, when I was a sophomore in high school, the Lord first spoke to me. It was in a Jewish synagogue, Temple Shalom in Newport, Rhode Island. And he said to me in the synagogue, he says, "Larry, I'm not here. This is not where you'll find me." And as a knee-jerk reaction, I didn't even think about what I said. I just knew that I said, okay, well, if you're not here, where are you? And that was the beginning of the Lord leading me into a long journey where I have now been in the Lord for 45 years. During that period of time, I spent 27 years in the military. I spent 13 years in the Army as a medic, and I spent 14 years in the U.S. Coast Guard as a medical corpsman. And during that time, boy, I heard God speak to me numbers of times. And there were other things that I'll reveal to you in time, but the Lord has taught me how to pray. I understand how to pray, and the Lord has also called me to write a book about prayer. Again, the title of the book is called Prayer. Why is it so difficult and how to overcome it? Prayer is difficult. Chapter 1 of my book talks about the invisibility of God. How do you love a ghost? How do you love somebody who is invisible? With God, you can't see his face. You can't touch him, can't hug him, can't see his smiles. And even when you want to listen to his voice, a lot of times it's very, very difficult. How do you know for sure that you're hearing the voice of God? Well, it's difficult for the finite people to talk with the infinite. It's difficult for those of us that are flesh and blood to have a relationship with the invisible. I know that God requires us to have a relationship with him better than we would have a relationship with, our spouse or our mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers. We're supposed to have a relationship with God better than any human being on earth. But yet, how often have you sat down and tried to pray, and it's like talking to yourself? Well, in this book, Prayer, Why is it so difficult? We talk about all the difficulties. I'm sure there are some that I miss, but I've pretty much got a good exhaustive list why prayer is so difficult, and also how to overcome those difficulties. In this book, in chapter 1, I talk about the invisibility of God, the struggles with the invisibility of God, and how to make an invisible God your best friend. Yes, we talk a lot about scripture, but there's also a lot of stories from my life in chapter 1. Chapter 2 talks about my testimony, going from Judaism to Christianity. In fact, I gave my life to the Lord in Germany, of all places. I think it's kind of funny. Germany is a place where so many Jewish people died during the Holocaust. I'm one of those people who also died, but not in the Holocaust. I died in Germany, but then I was born again. I was reborn. So one of the few Jews that actually died in Germany and was born again. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of funny to me. So chapter 2 talks about my testimony. And there's a lot of stories in there. I mean, between the Army and the Coast Guard, and there's just a lot in chapter 2. It's interesting. It's an interesting read. In fact, the whole book is interesting, but chapter 1 and chapter 2 are very interesting. Chapter 3 is a chapter where I haven't started yet, But that's where I go on the road. I go to the highways and the highways and the skyways to conduct some interviews of people that we know that are successful in prayer. My hopes is to meet with people like Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son, Kenneth Copeland, Jesse Duplantis, and there's a lot of others. In fact, even some musician. I'm hoping to interview with Michael W. Smith, Jeremy Camp. I'm hoping to interview with some of the people from Hillsong and Paul Wilbur. A number of people. This is going to be the most incredible journey, watching God open up chapter 3 for me. The good news is in January, I'm doing this video in October. In fact, it's October the 6th. But on January 29th, I'm getting married to Alice Harvey. I'm going to change that last name to Berman. Amazing human being. I mean, God had called her to be my helpmeet. And some of the prayers that she had prayed to have me in her life started when she was 5 years old. God had been putting things in her life, and me as well. I need somebody in my life who is a prayer warrior, somebody who could be my helpmeet, somebody who doesn't have distractions. In fact, we kind of laugh in our household. Well, Alice doesn't live here, but when she comes to visit, we don't watch TV, and we don't have any dogs because we don't want any distractions. Too many people, particularly Americans, run right home to watch TV, and instead of being involved in the important things of life, they're interested in things of the world, to be honest with you. But I'm not here to convict you about that. So chapter 3 in January, once Alice and I, get married, have a honeymoon, and we settle down, sometime in February, we're going to take off. And in fact, one of the places that we really want to go to is Albany, Georgia. Albany, Georgia is the home of Sherwood Baptist Church. Sherwood Baptist Church is the home of Alice and Stephen Kendricks, the Kendricks brothers, who made the films that I'm sure that you've heard some of them, Flywheel, Facing the Giants, Courageous, War Room, Fireproof, those kind of films. We're hoping to meet and interview with Stephen and Alex Kendricks because I want to interview and find out about their prayer lives. I want to ask them questions like, when they really want to get to the throne of God, when they really want to get to the highest level of communicating with God, where do they go? Do they have a specific room that they go to? Do they have a particular regiment that they do? What music do they love? What music really sends them to the highest highs when they're worshiping God and they're spending time with God? I'm hoping, I don't want to do this through a video conference. I want to do this face to face because I want to see where they pray. I want to see how they pray. In fact, I'm hoping that all these names that I've dropped, and there are more names than that, I'm hoping to be able to spend time with them and worship with them and develop bonds with them, and their testimonies and the techniques that they use of how they effectively pray will be on this video. I'm sorry, well, maybe so, but will be in the book, chapter 3. Chapter 4 is a techniques chapter. What techniques do I use for effective prayer? What techniques does Stephen Alex Kendricks use? What techniques does, all the rest of them use? That'll be a great chapter because if you're having difficulty figuring out how to pray, in addition to the stories, it's nice to know this works for me, this works for him. And some people are very organized and they need an organized system in how to pray. Some people don't. But I'm sure that in the stories, the testimonies of the people that pray that I interview for the book, I'm sure there'll be a full range of how people pray, and yet some commonalities. Okay, so that's chapter 4. Chapter 5 is a very interesting chapter on prayer. The Lord is coming back. We don't know when, but he's coming back. We all know he's coming back. So how do you pray to align yourself to be a partner with the Lord coming back? Many people, they just pray about their needs, and they pray for some of the local people that are in their life. But the Lord is coming back, and there are great rewards for aligning yourself to help the Lord come back. And there are secrets that he will tell you because you're on his A team to help him return. So that's chapter 5. There was going to be a chapter 6, which was going to be a 365-day devotional dedicated only to prayer. But it's gotten so long that it's really going to have to be a supplemental book to Prayer Why Is It So Difficult and How to Overcome It. We'll have to see how that works. I also have some other books that are planned that I believe the Lord has called me to write. I don't want to go into that right now because I don't want to confuse the issue, confuse what I'm trying to do. So this is basically my introduction to the book. When do I expect the book to be done? To be honest with you, I don't know. God has called me to sit down and write. He'll take care of those kind of logistics. I will tell you that maybe 50% of the book is already completed. Maybe 55, whatever. But this is a work in progress, and you're getting to watch it on the ground floor. There's still some things that need to be done. As you see, we're developing a YouTube channel. I'm about to start. I've got 141 devotionals already written. I got to do 365, so I'm not quite halfway yet. But in addition, on this YouTube channel, to updating you about the book, giving you exciting announcements, and plugging my GoFundMe account. In addition to that, I'll be reading the devotionals. This is kind of like a blog. We're going to be talking about prayer, but the purpose is to build the material necessary to complete this book. In fact, many of you who are going to be watching this video and these videos are welcome to tell me your stories. Who knows? Your stories may end up in my book. My email address is Larry, Larry, middle initial J as in Joshua, last name Berman, Berman. See? Told you, it's a good Jewish name, Larry Berman. So Larry J. Berman 11 at gmail.com. Maybe at some point I'll be able to give you my cell phone number, those of you who were interacting with to build the book. But that's how to contact me. Larry J. Berman 11 at gmail.com. So that's pretty much the end of this particular video. It's just an introduction to the book. It's a very exciting book. Imagine, really, honestly, for real, imagine a book ordained by God about prayer, written by a Messianic Jewish person who spent 27 years in the military, in the medical field. And it talks about the invisibility of God and how to be a friend to somebody in the infinite. And then my stories, my testimonies, those are not boring, I promise. And then the interviews, I really hope, I believe that God is going to let me interview. He's going to open up doors, incredible doors, of people that I'm going to get to sit with and meet. One of the things I've got to do, just to give you an insight, I really need to get my interviews down to 30 to 35 minutes. There is a program that takes the audio portion and transcribes it into print. And it needs to be half hour, 35 minutes, really max. So when I go and I interview these people, I have to nail it. I have to give the most perfect interview ever so that I don't waste their time. Because some of these people, I'll never get a chance to see them again. Some people might even say, Larry, I'll give you 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes. That's all I can spare you. Now, if I'm flying from Florida, where I'm at right now, if I fly from Florida, let's say I go to Texas, Kenneth Copeland. And he said, Larry, I got to get on my jet. I got to go someplace. I can give you 30 minutes. Man, I have to be fluent in how to interview. I've got a list of questions, but I will be recording it both on a tape recorder and also, well, it's not a tape recorder, but it's a micro recorder. It's in here. And also, if they will let me, I'm not sure what their legal issues are, but if they will let me, then I'll also videotape it such as this. We'll have to see. There's all kinds of legal stuff that goes with using their testimony and their name. But anyways, I've got to nail down the interview. I've got to get it good. And so one of the things that I plan on doing in the month of October is practicing November, practicing my interview skills. Man, I can't do enough interviews to get down how to be efficient. In fact, just a little insight. One of the disclaimers that I'm sending them is that there'll be times during the interview that it'll appear that I'm not paying attention. And that's correct. I'm not. I'm kind of listening with a half ear, but my head is down in the questions and also in prayer to make sure I ask the questions that's pertinent for that particular person that I'm interviewing. So I'm going to tell them there'll be times that it appears that I'm not paying attention. I'm really letting the recorders pay the attention. After I get back and edit and look at the transcripts, that's when I'm really, really going to pay attention. Yes, I'll be listening to them, but there's, when you're talking and somebody is looking down at their material, it feels like it's rude. But I'm going to let them know it's not a matter of being rude. I've got to be ready for the right and the next question. So that's kind of the insights that goes with this. I also need to develop a website. I don't have a website yet, but I know that God will supply all my need according to his riches and glory. If indeed this book is from God, and I believe it is. In fact, I'm really planning on going on book tours and speaking engagements and develop an entire ministry. This, which I plan on doing, is part of the ministry of reconciliation. And so my job is to reconcile people back to God, back to the Father, by helping them know how to pray. And so Alice and I are hoping to be able to travel the globe, giving seminars about helping people how to pray. So we have a big vision, and I'm ready. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. It's in me to do this. So join me. I would love to have you join me. It's a whole lot more fun when I have a large audience as opposed to one or two people and you're hearing crickets. But hey, I don't have to worry about that. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to sit down and write. Excuse me. There are a number of people that I'm praying for to help. Like a website, for example. That's not my job. My job is to write. I have to let other people do what they can do, because what they cannot do is sit and write. I'm the only one that has to sit and write. I need other people to help me with social platforms and to get the word out. And to be honest with you, help develop some funds. Now, Alice and I can do it on our own. We can develop our own funds, but under the category of God shall supply all of our needs, we've got to do a lot of traveling throughout the United States to get these interviews done for Chapter 3 to make it credible and pertinent. So which means that we're either going to get in the car and drive miles and, food and hotel and interviews or get in airplanes and fly in hotels and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of work to be done. At least I can report to you that half the book, I know I'm being redundant, half the book is already done. And we'll see. We'll build this together. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I know I'm supposed to do this. Okay? I know that I'm supposed to do this. It will get done. You can count on it. I guarantee it's going to count on it. So the book is called Prayer. Why is it so difficult? Let me see if you can see me. Why is it so difficult? Prayer. Why is it so difficult? And how to overcome it. And we're doing good. We're building it. I'm being obedient to the Lord. And I also have a Facebook page. My Facebook page, you can find me either under my name or you can find me under Prayer. Why is it so difficult? And how to overcome it. And the YouTube channel is coming out real soon. Well, I guess this is part of it. So when you see it, the YouTube channel is out, wouldn't you say? Okay, I'm done. This is the very first video for the YouTube channel. I'm Larry Berman. I'm going to do this. It's going to happen. I guarantee it's going to happen. Join me. Help me build this thing. Watch my videos. Let other people know about it. It's going to be exciting. I'm just talking. All right. Thank you. God bless you.